everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am Erica, or Ricky Mickey Plans, and I am not doing another regular plan with me. If you are a regular to my channel and you clicked on this because of that, you know I normally do planner layouts for like planning out your week in what some people would call like a catch-all planner. This is still planning, sort of. Maybe not. It's more just, it's a journal. It's just a journal. It's a journal. And technically, specifically, it is a Dungeons and Dragons journal. Last week, if my last video, I did a regular planner spread. I'll pull it out here. And it was dragon themed. I did this because it's my husband's birthday week and he loves Dungeons and Dragons. And frankly, to be honest, I enjoy it too. He and I play together on many Friday nights with some other teacher friends and their significant others. And so, you know, it's not just him. I pinned it on him, but I enjoy it too. So I thought I would show, I'm going to put all my dice here. I thought I would show you how I use Happy Planner, not stuff, but like my experience with Happy Planner and how it affected my journaling for Dungeons and Dragons. So if you like Dungeons and Dragons, stick around. If you don't, stick around. Maybe you'll like it. If you're here for planners, back to my next video. Anyway, so I made this cover. It's nothing special. It's just a Google image I found with some dice, and then I laminated it and punched it, and yeah, nothing fancy. I've actually had to re-laminate it a time or two because it just not put more lamination on it, but just run it through the heater again because the edges come a little loose. But that's not the end of the world. And then I just did plain black cardstock on the back. So this is not very sturdy. It bends, but it does the trick. And then when you open it up, you get to these pages. Now, I keep these in the front for now, but they actually don't stay in the front when I'm using them. So I'm going to move them and come back to these. And this is how my journal looks when it's in use. So the first thing I use or have in my journal is our party. Everybody's characters and their real names so that I can keep them straight. I did not put my own on here, but I'm in the party too. And some of us have more than one character and that kind of thing. And so that's just it. I need to remember that, Rob's character is Thalia. And sometimes Rob's character is Caspian. So I can refer to this if I forget their pretend name, right? And then I come to the section on my character. My character's name in this particular adventure is Matrona. Now, all I did for this is I just took some brown cardstock and I literally traced like a tab that you would, like that you buy to put in a binder. And I just traced the shape on there and cut it out. Like, this is nothing fancy. And then I used my punch on this. And if you don't have the punch for this, you can also just punch a hole with a regular hole punch and then cut a slice. So if you don't have this fancy punch for discs, that works. But that's how I made this. Then I just added this washi because I have it and it's cute. This is my character art that kind of inspired my character. Her name is Matrona Emberheart. This is done with AI, if you couldn't tell, considering she only has 3 fingers on her left hand and only 3 fingers on her right hand. There might be another finger sticking down there, but it's not perfect. But you work with it. My character also does not have elf ears, but I couldn't figure out how to get rid of this little dreamy thing from what AI made. So this is actually her. Is this perfect? No, but is this good enough for me to show I can pull it out. I can, show everybody at the table, this is what I look like. And there you go. And that's also why I like the Happy Planner disc system, is I can move stuff around, take it in, take it out. I love that, as opposed to like a permanently bound book. This is my character sheet. This is actually, I think this one's outdated. Yeah, this one's outdated because it's from when I was level 3. My current character sheet, I can just get rid of this one. My current character sheet is this one. Now I use washi where I do the punch on my character sheet because I will take this out from the front and I will move it back into the working journal so I have it with me. I don't have to flip through the book. It's right there next to me. But so I just put some little washi to strengthen these mushroom holes. But I kind of this is not a character sheet you can download. I kind of made this myself. The thing I added, if you are a D&D person, is over here where, like, when we're talking like use your constitution. Um, our DMs always say things like use the big number. I'm going to admit, I don't know what that means. Do they mean the larger in size number or the larger in quantity number? So I literally just typed in modifier and raw ability. So now instead of them saying use the big number or the small number, if they say use your constitution modifier, I know which one it is. Or what's your constitution raw ability, I know what it is. So I added that. That's not in the regular character sheets you can download, but it is super helpful if this doesn't come naturally to you, which it does not to me. Most of this I fill out with a regular pen, but a few spots I will use an erasable pen. This is regular pen, but then if I lose hit points, I'll write it in erasable pen so that I can erase them when I gain those hit points back. Same with spell slots. You can even see where those have been filled out and erased and filled out and erased, and I forgot to add a level 2 spell, so I just did that by hand. Same with my Bardic Inspiration. Forgot to add that I get a fourth one at level 4. But I'll fix that next time. When I go up to level 5, I'll fix that. But most of this is regular pen, but a few of these boxes up here, temporary things and that kind of thing, death saves, all those would be with erasable pen or pencil so that I can change them as the game progresses. I just kind of printed up my background, came up with some of this actually. Like I came up with my siblings and things like that and stories about them. And so that was my background. My personality characteristics, ideals, bonds, and flaws, those came from when you use like Roll20 and roll up a character. Those were some of them that they suggested and put for me. And so I kept them because I thought, that seems right. And then all this stuff, this is just with word processing. That's all it is. That's why it's not really fancy. Like these things, that looks kind of silly. I know it's cheesy and hokey, but it works. And I did it on this more parchment-y colored paper. Just, I don't know. I did that for everything in this section, the Matrona section, and then everything else in the other sections is just white paper. I used to do that with my character sheet. As you can see, my level 3 character sheet was also in that colored paper. Apparently, I forgot to do that when I made this one. But yeah, this is just a word processing. I literally copied from Roll20 and pasted it into here so that I could put it in my binder. My characteristics, these were things that my DM asked about. She said, what is your happy place? What is your shame? Tell us your shames. And so I had to kind of make these up, and I keep them in here so I don't forget them, even though I forget them. I definitely forget them. More characteristics. I think she assigned, let's see, I rolled this one. That's why it says rolled. And then this one was my choice. So we had to have one that we rolled and one that we chose. And I marked it in case it came up in conversation or something. This, for some reason, was white paper, but that's okay. One of my features. These are features that come with my character as a bard, charlatan, bard. Some of these are predestined by Roll20 or by D&D or whatever. And so I have the Jack of all trades trait, Song of Rest. These are just my traits that I didn't choose. They came for me. More things, Bardic Inspiration. And so that way, if I forget how to use them, they're here. Now, one thing I did with my character, this has nothing to do with my journal. This is just me talking. I decided my character was going to be like the mothering type. Like she wants to be a mom, so she mothers everybody. And so a lot of my traits and my spells and my attacks, I somehow made them into a mom thing. So like when I give somebody bardic inspiration, I'm using my mom voice to give it to them. So that's what this little speech bubble I added in was, which is not filled out for all of them. And this is just another trait. Then it gets to me to my spells, and I have a page for each spell. Again, I literally copied and pasted this stuff out of Roll20 and put it onto this thing that I made on Word. Nothing fancy, but I just wanted to have it with me because the house we play at a lot, I have to turn my Wi-Fi off because their Wi-Fi, they live out in the middle of nowhere, and their Wi-Fi isn't strong enough for all of us to be on their Wi-Fi. And so, I want it printed out so I can have it. So these are just my spells. And like I said, some of them have like the mom version. My healing word is like mom spit, kiss it, make it better, that kind of thing. Heroism is mom encouragement. Go for it. So I turned my spells into mom kind of things. But these are my spells in alphabetical order with the levels on there. And yeah. Now I do have, in addition to this, one sheet of my spells that I keep all in one place. That way, when I've learned my spell really well and I no longer have to go back to this to be like, oh, range is 60 feet, or oh, it's a wisdom saving throw. If I kind of know that, I can just glance at this quickly and use it. And I like this because all my cantrips are in one place. This isn't alphabetically, this is by level. Cantrips in one place, level 1s, level 2. My level 1 that doesn't use a spell slot, I always do that. And I included my mom things in there, and then I also marked what I got from being a magic initiate, warlock style, just because sometimes we challenge each other in my group and we're like, hey, what? That? I don't know that you should have that many, spells. So I marked these specifically so that I could be like, oh no, I do have that. And here's why. And, because we challenge each other. It's a thing we do. This next section I labeled as NPCs, loot, and money. The specific adventure we're in hasn't had a lot of chances for money usage yet. So we've barely gotten any money. We've barely spent any money. There just has not been much use for it. My plan for this was to just keep subtracting and then use a pencil or erasable pen up here to here's what is currently in my wallet, and then here's how I got to that. This is sort of my check register, right? But we've used so little money that I just haven't kept up with it that much. I mean, I've written it down so I know, and I could go back and do the math and figure out what I have and fill this out if I wanted, but until I need to, I'm not going to. Loot. These are out of order. Most of this page is the loot that I kind of started out with on the adventure. And then this is stuff that I acquired. I write the session date that I got it. I write what it is, where I was when I got it, what town or what, bar or house or whatever. And then if I want to write it down, but sometimes most of this is just my stuff. But every once in a while, I want to remember that so-and-so has, Myrna has a golden key. That way, if we get to something, I'm like, hey, you have that key. So sometimes I write down what other people have. Most of the time, this is just what I have. And then that brings me to NPCs. For those of you who have stuck with me and don't play D&D, that means non-player characters. So these are you meet somebody on the road, and so you put them in here so you can remember them. I don't fill this out great, but I fill it out as well as I can. I don't do it for every single NPC we meet, but I do it for the ones that I think we may end up either meeting again or discussing again or whatever. And so I just put their name. I'll put their race if they have it. And by race, if you don't do D&D, it doesn't really mean race. It's more like human or barbarian or elf or something like that. The date I meet them is actually helpful because then I can go back in my journal. I can be like, oh, I met Duchess Morwen in session 1. And so then if I want to find more about Duchess Morwen, I can go see what we did together when we met her. So that's actually really important that I put that. And so these are just a bunch of our NPCs we've met along the way. And some of them I'll put as a group. We met these 5 huntsmen together, so I put them as a group. If they become more important later, I can separate them out. But for now, they're just the 5 huntsmen to me. These 2, an uncle and a nephew that work together. If they become more important later, I can separate them. But for now, they go together. And so those are the NPCs we've met so far. We've only had, I think, 15 sessions. So, we don't have a ton yet, but I have extra pages and I can easily print more because, again, this is just on Word. It's nothing amazing. And finally, my journal. This is just where I keep track of what we do. And I really like my setup. I write the date that we meet here. Was our session 1, was January 26, 2024, almost exactly a year from the day I'm making this video. In 1 week. If I'd have made this in 1 week from today, it'd be a year. That's crazy that we've only had 15 sessions in a year. But yeah, I made a box for the date. Session 1 I'll put up here. And after a while, we started naming our sessions. So I put that up here too if we do it. We didn't do it on the first one. NPCs we meet. If at the end of the night there's something I need to do, we have to level up or we have homework or, whatever, I'll put that here. Any loot or money that we got during that session, I will put here. So it'll get written down over here in the session notes, but I'll move that here. This is like the bullet point area. And then the locations we went to in that session are here as well. And then over here, I just write session notes. I'm kind of a slappy handwriter. Sometimes I play with washi just because I have it. Sometimes I don't. I try to use a different color pen every other session just because it keeps it interesting for me. But yeah, this is nothing fancy and it'll go to the back. And then sometimes, frankly, I forget to print these. And if I forget to print these, I can just do it on some paper. So this is just some regular Happy Planner paper. If you can't tell, it's got dots on it. And I just kind of kept the same format. Oh, I didn't tear enough pages out. You can see it's sort of the same format. I kept NPCs here and loot and money here and locations here. I kept it the same. I forgot to print, or I forgot we were meeting and didn't have time to print or whatever. And so, if you can't print that stuff, don't print it. It's not the end of the world. I think I had 2 or 3 weeks in a row where I forgot to print. And then this time I printed, but I punched it on the wrong side. So there you go. It's not that deep, really. And I think everything from here on out was normal, and I started to get the hang of it again. But yeah, so this will just run into, this is just how my journal runs. And yes, I will doodle throughout the night. I do this, anytime you see this is turn order or marching order, sort of, if we're going somewhere. But yeah, I can doodle in here. I can write down other things we talked about. Here's a book somebody said I should read that has nothing to do with DnD. But yeah, that is how I do it. Oh, and remember I said that I keep things loose. So I will keep my spells, both attacky kind of spells, just all my spells and other traits. I will keep this with my attacks. Again, my attacks are on roll 20, but I keep this paper of attacks here. What the attack is, the roll to attack, so a 1d20 or a 120 sided dice plus 4. The attack damage, 4-sided dice plus 2, and the damage type is piercing. This is a regular weapon. These are my cantrips, and these are my spells. I know cantrips are spells, but anyway. So I'll keep this and this, which I don't look at as much, but I keep it, and this, but I don't look as much, but I keep it, and this. I keep these 3 things with me. So let's say it was session 7. I would have this kind of tucked right here for the night. So I'm writing away. I've got my pen. I'm writing. Oh my goodness, I need a spell. I can just go like this really quick. Boom. Oh, I'm writing. I need an attack. Okay, I can just look at this really quick. I'm writing. Oh, I have to roll my Constitution modifier. You can look here. I keep these pages mobile so that I'll store them in the front, but when I'm playing, they're right next to whatever, page I'm on in my journal. And that's pretty much it. I keep extra blank paper in the back in case I need it. And yeah, that's how I roll. And you can see I do like to doodle, but that's okay. It's no big deal. And all the different colors. And I will say I do like to use heavier paper for this. This is 32-pound paper. I like that because I love the Papermate flares, and it doesn't bleed through as much. It does a little bit, but not as much. But if I use 20-pound paper, it would bleed through a lot. I think my first few weeks might have been 20-pound paper. But I also wasn't using the flares here because of that. This was a regular pen. So I think I knew that was going to happen. So anyway, that is my D&D journal. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you like to play role-playing games, and if you know have any suggestions on how I could make, streamline this and make it work better, or if you got anything from what I said. I'd love to know that I made an influence and helped somebody. So normally I would say have a great week and happy planning, but to you, I guess I will say have a great week, stay safe and stay healthy, and happy role-playing. Thanks for watching. Oh, and thumbs up, and if you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to be kind, you could give me a subscribe too, and I would love that, even if you don't watch regular planning videos. But again, if you want to see one with dragons be made, check out the link below. All right, have a great time playing. Bye bye.